Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host Khalid. But today is the 28th of May 2024 and these are the stories that we will be highlighting during the course of the show. We'll begin with Youm-e-Takbeer that is being observed across the country today. Now this is being observed to commemorate the historic day in 1998 when Pakistan joined the ranks of nuclear nations, the 7th nuclear country in the world and the first Islamic nuclear state after of course the atomic tests that happened in the hills of Sherazi in Balochistan. Now Pakistan became the 7th nuclear nation, as I said. The nation observed Youm-e-Takbeer all across Pakistan with different gatherings and of course with the resolve to stay strong for Pakistan and be on one page when it comes to serving the interests of Pakistan. There were special prayers there and of course there were different statements that came out, whether it be from our Prime Minister, whether it be from our Army Chief and from the other forces chiefs as well, whether it be from our acting president, whether it be from the Speaker of the National Assembly or from other leaders, political leaders as well. There was a united resolve to work together for strengthening Pakistan. This is going to be our first segment, Youm-e-Takbeer. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns the heat wave in Pakistan that has engulfed Sindh and also Punjab. In Sindh, the temperatures have gone as high as 52 to 53 degrees Celsius in different areas of the province. And of course, Punjab is also bearing the brunt of this heat wave. We are seeing that in our capital Islamabad as well. There are predictions that there might be a dust storm, there might be some kind of scattered winds or rains starting from the 28th, but this is something that we will only get to know maybe by tonight or by tomorrow, because this is what the Met Office has predicted, that it is going to start to rain starting from tonight. Also, has climate change been one of the major factors due to this heat wave? Pakistan has also grappled with other effects of climate change, like of course what happened in late 2022 and what continues to happen as far as Pakistan is concerned. Pakistan has been highlighting this on different fora. Whether the world listens to it or not is another thing altogether. This is going to be our second story. Then we are going to talk about the installation in the United Arab Emirates, ladies and gentlemen, that has set a Guinness World Record for the largest solar power light bulb display. Now this display that was lit brightly through the night and shaped like the UAE's national ghaf tree, more than 3,000 student made lanterns set this Guinness World Record for the largest solar power light bulb display. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about a giant picnic in France. It's the summers, and of course in Europe this is what a lot of people do. In France it is a tradition. A large picnic brought together 4,000 people on the Champs-Élysées in the middle of France. The lucky diners enjoyed the packed lunches offered by one of the Avenue's 8 restaurants, sealed in a large checker tablecloth that was around 200 meters long. This is going to be our last story. Let's begin with our first, and our first story concerns Youm-e-Takbeer. Youm-e-Takbeer has been very important since 1998 when our first nuclear tests were conducted, and that was of course on this very day in 1998. Now the fact also remains that when these tests happened, this was as a reaction to what India had done, the nuclear blast explosion that it had done on the 11th of May that very year, and there was an imbalance in the region, a strategic imbalance in the region that had to be catered to, and that is why on the 28th of that very month in 1998, Pakistan responded by these nuclear explosions that happened, and of course thus Pakistan became the first Islamic country and continues to be the only Islamic country in the world to be a nuclear capable state, a nuclear responsible state, a state that has always said that for it nuclear capability is for safety purposes and is for deterrence purposes, but not for any purpose, and of course for safe use as well, for nuclear energy purposes as well. Now we've got two guests to discuss different aspects of Youm-e-Takbeer and the different statements that came in. What does Youm-e-Takbeer mean for today's youth? What does Youm-e-Takbeer mean for those who witnessed it in 1998. We've been joined by two guests. One is in the studios and one is online. In the studios, we've been joined by Dr. Maria Sultan. She's a defense analyst and she joins us in the studios after quite a bit of a hiatus. Maria, thank you very much to have joined us.
It's a pleasure.
And online, we've been joined by Brigadier retired Babar Alauddin. He's a defense analyst. Thank you very much to have joined us as well. We'll begin with you, Maria. 26 years ago, this very day, 1998. I remember it. I'm sure that you remember the day as well.
Well, it's not a good thing to say that,
okay.
But I agree.
Yes, but you know, we witnessed
yes,
it.
Yes.
For us, it was something
momentous.
Spectacular, momentous for a country like Pakistan. That time also we were under the leadership of the PMLN Supremo Nawazsharif, and of course tributes today are also continued, are paid to the architect of that nuclear program, Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan, and have been paid every year to not only the architect but also his team and all the scientists, all those unnamed names who are also behind Pakistan's nuclear program. If we go back in time, Maria, how important was Pakistan's move that happened on this very day? Would you like to give a historical perspective?
I think from a historical perspective, it was the single most important decision which Pakistan made in support of its defense. Had we not done this decision in 1998, perhaps we would have faced international conditions, we would have faced international lure, and perhaps our defense would have not become impregnable. Because Pakistan faced a very uncanny decision, as we are all very familiar, that since 1971, once we lost East Pakistan as a result of external subversion, this was followed by 1974, India's nuclear explosions, then called the Smiling Buddha, where India stole some of the nuclear materials from its then so-called civil nuclear facility and tested a device, calling it Smiling Buddha. The consequent result had been that we had started a program in 1956. Pakistan Atomic Energy Council was created at that time, and then later on Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. And we single-handedly believed, like other countries who had participated in the Eisenhower program, Atoms for Peace, that we were perhaps developing this capability for the good of the people, for nuclear power generation, like other countries in the world. We continue to, draw international attention that India was actually deviating its resources, but nobody believed us. But so in 1974, when India tested, the consequent result was that a nuclear supplies group was made. In 1975, global, export control restrictions came, and unfortunately, Pakistan's nuclear program became a target of those. In 1976, we had a reprocessing deal with France, which was cancelled because they believed that we were not participating as per what they were expecting. So the deal was withdrawn. So this basically meant that whatever our aspirations were for development of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, or for that matter weapons purposes, it was all taken away. Then a decision was made in 1976 by then Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, which is known as the Multan meeting. And in that Multan meeting, the decision was made that Pakistan will go for the nuclear option and will develop a nuclear option. What is outstanding about this result and this decision was that this was a decision which was owned by all political parties, including the next political party, which was PMLN, and Nawazsharif once he was in power in 1998, or for that matter other allied parties, plus the Pakistani military establishment. And what's furthermore important, that in 1998 we were under a lot of international pressure. We had pressure from the West, we had pressure from whatever you call East, West, North, whatever you call it. Our economy, as you know, was also at that time under a lot of stress, and India had tested. And there was constant, pressure coming from India also, which said that Pakistan actually doesn't have a capability. And if it does have a capability, it's very nascent, it's not capable for war fighting, it's not capable for deterrence, and so on and so forth. So the end result was that Pakistan was under global pressure. Pakistan was under internal economic pressure, but Pakistan made this decision. Once we made this decision, we re-established deterrence in this region. And not only that we re-established deterrence in this region, we made it very certain to all of those concerned that any war with Pakistan will never remain conventional in all its entirety. If a war is thrust on Pakistan at large scale level, Pakistan will respond, and that would not be good. And let's not forget that we were the 7th country in the world to have tested nuclear, and not only tested nuclear, a country which was under global international military sanctions, global sanctions, and despite that we produced this. And that's a testimony to 3 things: our continuity of effort, the unsung heroes, the scientists which you have mentioned, the military leadership, the political leadership, but most importantly the people of Pakistan. Because once in 1998, once the sanctions were put on us, the overseas Pakistanis poured in the money, the Pakistani community inside poured in the money, and the atmosphere on the roads was that of festivity. People stood by like an iron-clad wall in which they believed that this was a decision which would liberate us, and this proved to be a right decision.
All right.
You know, in 2001, we saw a war against terror. You know, despite facing the wrath of the United States, they still had to opt for us being a partner, despite the misgivings. And a war was not thrust on us. Though initially, if you remember, it seemed to be a larger context in which the war was framed.
Of course. I mean, there's a lot of context to it, but looking back and now looking at this day in 2024, on this very same day that Pakistan became a nuclear capable state, the intentions of Pakistan have always been clear, that it's for safe, peaceful purposes, and it's for creating nuclear energy, and will be used at a deterrent if and when the situation arises, but never will Pakistan be on the first, on the first, hand, as far as, any such incident that is, aggression is concerned.
You're right, but I think Pakistan's policy has been, just if you allow me to just state a little, Pakistan has always reserved the right to strike first, because we believe that we do not want to have an unsolicited war on our front. Though we have understood this responsibility with great caution and great exercise. That said, we maintain the right to respond first if we are threatened with any kind of a nuclear situation. Hopefully, this is not something which we are anticipating.
Of course.
But Balakot proved our point, where once India came up with the nuclear threat, we corresponded, and the war did not expand, despite the fact that India has 3-1, 5-1, 7-1 military difference with regards to conventional capabilities. So it's a great equalizer which we have got.
Of course, it's a great equalizer as well. Brigadier Babar Alauddin Saab, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif today says the day symbolizes the collective efforts of all facets of national power. He says the entire nation vowed for the integrity of the country, that no compromise will be made by accepting any kind of external pressure on the country's defense. With challenges that we see on our borders, we have been seeing, we continue to see on different borders, how important is the realization on this day that no compromise should be made or will be made by accepting any kind of external pressure on the country's defense?
Of course, this is very important. This is absolutely correct. Once the Prime Minister said it, it doesn't go with the Prime Minister only. Every Pakistani believes that no pressure whatsoever ever taken on will ever be accepted. And as far as the country's defense is concerned, especially under the circumstance we are living today, we're talking about our nuclear capability and 28th of May 1998. On that day also, I still remember, although those early days of my military career, at least, it was full of excitement that day. I still remember I was doing a course in a military institution with so many foreign students, and more than us, the foreign students from Islamic countries, they were overexcited, they were full of joy and happiness, and that happiness was understood naturally. Talking about what the Prime Minister said, Pakistan has proved it. Pakistan proved it on 28th of May 1998, and even afterwards, that when it comes to our defense, when it comes to our national security whatsoever, there are no doubts that we have economic issues, we have other political issues, but as far as country's defense is concerned, absolutely the entire nation is united, and we have proved it. We have proved it so many times. We proved it during the war of terror, and we are proving it even today. What the war still goes on as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as the Indian designs are concerned, and especially under the present Indian regime, it's no secret from anybody what the basically the designs and intentions of Narendra Modi-led Indian government has about Pakistan, may it be Balakot, may it be even before that, may it be even after that, and may it be the events of what Indians are doing in Balochistan, in Fatah, and what the Indians have been doing, and even just to support the undercurrents in Azad Kashmir. So Pakistan is very clear, government is very clear, our military leadership is very clear that as far as Pakistan's defense is concerned, naturally there can be just no compromise, come what may. We have the capability, we have the potential, we have the strength to withstand all these challenges. As we've just discussed that on 28th of May 1998, even during those days, Pakistan was under President amendments. There were so many sanctions, and sanctions were put against Pakistan. Following the test of 28th May 1998, we withstood that. The nation withstood that. The Pakistan living overseas, they supported the government despite maybe a difference of political likes and dislikes. Even it is today. So I go by the Prime Minister. The entire nation has the same ideas, the same will and faith, same, I would say, desire that Pakistan's defense, no compromise. And this nuclear capability, being a military man, I can say it with utmost sincerity and conviction that had we not exploded on 20th May 1998, things would have been definitely entirely different. We had to do that. And because, as Maria said, on that day there were so many, so many statements coming, and doubts were being created, especially by the Indian, that Pakistan doesn't have a capability. Pakistan just tries to just boost its nuclear capability just to satisfy its nation. But we did it, and Alhamdulillah, today, as far as Pakistan defense is concerned, it's impregnable. And talking about the conventional warfare, yes, India and Pakistan, the big gap. The gap is not in any professional, I would say, field or the commitment or the dedication. But naturally, India is a big country. But as far as the nuclear capability is concerned, our missile technology is concerned, we're much better than the Indian. That they know it. They know it very well, and that is the reason that they dare not do anything except giving statements and misventures like Balakot and even Pulwama and some incidents here and there. So Alhamdulillah, the entire nation is very, very clear, united as far as our national security and Pakistan's defense is concerned.
All right. Maria, on this day, Acting President Sayyid Yusuf Gilani has reiterated the resolve to continue working towards a peaceful and a stable world. He says, on this day, we successfully demonstrated our nuclear capabilities and joined the ranks of nuclear powers. But Pakistan, as a responsible nuclear state, firmly believes in the peaceful resolution of conflicts. Maria, being a responsible nuclear state, how do you see Pakistan's resolve to continue working towards global peace, stability, peaceful resolution of conflicts, and also how do you see Pakistan's strategic capability as a powerful deterrent and a weapon of peace at the same time, as stated by Mr. Gilani?
I think there is no other country than Pakistan which has paid a bigger price for international security. Whether it has been the war against terror, whether it has been the fight against then Soviet Union, or what was known as the defense of the free world, or for that matter to stand for the liberty of the people to remain and understood as equal. Pakistan's nuclear capability is not just a capability in the material sense. It is a capability which gives you a sense of poise, a sense of ownership, a sense of grandeur, but most importantly a sense of equality. Deterrence by its value, nature and purpose against a larger adversary which is militarily much more advanced than you, much more powerful than you, and much more belligerent than you. Unfortunately, under Hindu India, we are looking at reconversions of Christians to Hinduism, we are looking at reconversions of Muslims to Hinduism, and their lives being put at stake, where their citizenship is even being taken away if they don't reconvert. In this environment, where we have faced the August 2019 decision, the 5th of August 2019 decision of India's parliamentary terrorism, Pakistan's nuclear capability has been a sense of poise. We have seen consistent efforts by New Delhi to come across Pakistani borders in one way or the other, whether it is in the case of Uri, whether it is in the case of Balakot, whether it has been in the case of a false cruise missile attack on Pakistan, attack on Pakistan. We have seen that it's Pakistan's deterrence capability which has brought peace to this region. We have not seen a senseless war being thrust on us. Despite the fact that there have been misadventurism, there has been this chilling sense of caution which has been presented to the other side, that Pakistan is by far and a very, very stable player of international deterrence. We understand what the capability stands for. We understand that its ultimate purpose is for peace, though it is an offensive capability, but it stands in the defense of a country's overall posture, that's for sure. In this context, we believe that if India and Pakistan can resolve these issues, 1.2 billion people living here who need development, who need to come out of poverty, who need to do everything else, deterrence capability allows us to refocus from defense because war is improbable. They can allow for that war to go on, but the cost of that war is going to be unacceptable even for New Delhi. So in this context, they have no other option but to realize that there is only going to be a future progression if it is based on defense, if it is based on peace. So from that point of view, we can very easily argue that it is a context which allows the two countries and also the world at large to understand that the value of peace lies in equality, justice, but most importantly, understanding that international order would be best preserved where military capability becomes a sense of balance rather than a sense of war. So this is the offense-defense balance which Pakistan has presented, and the nuclear deterrence capability by far and by all means has been a very reliable and very stable factor for Pakistan's defense. Whether it was in terms of the war against terror being thrust on us, you know, it could have ended anyway because there was a global coalition. And even in that case, what we have been seeing consistently with regards to New Delhi, or even for that matter in future cases as well. So it's one of the best capabilities which any country could.
And of course, this day is a reminder of these capabilities that Pakistan has and will continue to have and will strengthen these capabilities in the future as well. Dr. Maria Sultan, thank you very much to have joined us. Last question to you, Brigadier Babar Alauddin Saab. Brigadier Saab, since 1998, Pakistan has successfully test-fired many other missiles, whether it be Fateh, whether it be Babar, Ghori, Shaheen, Ghaznavi, Ababil. Whereas Pakistan has strengthened its strategic capabilities, it is also committed to promoting an environment of peace and stability in South Asia and will continue its efforts to prevent aggression against any circumstance. Does the world, sir, and the region understand and accept and realize Pakistan's resolve that it has had since the last decades? Do you see Youm-e-Takbeer as such a day of honor and commitment?
There is no doubt that Pakistan has always acted as a very responsible neutral state at every forum, may it be at the international forum or the bilateral relation between Pakistan and India concerned. And Pakistan has always proved that our nuclear capability is mainly for maintaining a strategic balance in the region, especially keeping in mind the Indian design, their hegemonic designs, and their repeated aggressive designs, especially against Pakistan. And then secondly, for nuclear nuclear technology, Pakistan intends using for the energy purposes and so many other things. So Pakistan has always abided by all the international rules and regulations which are there, and Pakistan is a signatory to many treaties. So as far as Pakistan's commitment to the international peace, despite being a nuclear power, is concerned, there is absolutely no doubt, and the world stands satisfied despite the fact that there are many propagandas, false stories, fake news against Pakistan's nuclear program and at the behest of Indians, but all those have proved to be wrong. And now coming back to your point that is the world satisfied regarding Pakistan's role, I think the world is satisfied. Otherwise, there is no love lost as far as Pakistan is concerned, despite the fact that we have been leading state in the war against terror, and we are still fighting. Pakistan is still subjected to this terrorism more than anybody else in the world. So despite these things, Pakistan has won it, Pakistan has proved it, and the world understands Pakistan's intention. That is another point, whether for any political reason, for any vested interest, they may not be accepting it, acknowledging it the way they should be. But in the hearts of everybody's heart, they know it, that Pakistan is a peace-loving country. Pakistan has a very, very potent nuclear capability. As I've said earlier, that our missile program is much, much better than any other country of the world. Everybody acknowledges that. But despite having nuclear capability, a very, very potent missile capability, Pakistan is committed to peace, may it be peace in the region or world peace is concerned. As a very, very responsible member of the Committee of Nations, Pakistan goes by all the rules and regulations set for all these type of
Of
may
course,
it
very
be
true. And
legal
I think that is a resolve that Pakistan will continue to have, and that is a resolve that the world will also be seeing Pakistan undertake in the next couple of decades, as well as it has been doing in the previous decades as well. This day is also a very strong reminder of that resolve that Pakistan has had. Thank you very much, Brigadier Babar Alauddin Saab, to have joined us online and to have talked to us about this very important day, that is Youm-e-Takbeer. Thank you, sir. Let's come to our second story, and that concerns the heat wave in Pakistan and of course climate change that has impacted Pakistan in the form of floods and other calamities. In Sindh, as per the reports, the temperatures have surpassed 52 degrees Celsius in one or two areas. Also, Punjab is under the grip of this heat wave. What are the basic reasons? What are the basic effects that this heat wave is going to have? How long will this heat wave continue? Will the dust storms and the slight rain that will come time and again be helpful for the people or the crops, or will it prove to be a bane instead of a boon? We've been joined by two guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one in the studios. We've been joined by Waqar Sherazi. He's a climate expert. Waqar, thank you very much to have joined us. And of course, Dr. Zaheer Ahmed Babar Saab, he's Director, National Weather Forecasting Center, who joins us online. Dr. Saab, thank you very much to have joined us as well. Let's begin with you very quickly. Waqar, temperatures we have seen. Every year we see this time, but every year we see that the temperatures keep on increasing. Yeah. Now it is 52 or 53 degrees Celsius in some areas of Karachi. He met with the Met Office says that heat wave like conditions are likely between the 28th of May, that is today, and the 1st of June in some central and southern parts of the country, or despite the fact that Sindh continues to be the hottest region in Pakistan, followed by Punjab. Was this expected? Are these heat waves becoming a regular phenomenon in Pakistan? Is climate change to blame?
Well, it was a known phenomenon to me because it was anticipated that the climate-induced calamities would be more rapid in Pakistan. We have observed 22 floods and then 22 floods in Pakistan. And then I think in last decade, it is the 7th time that heat waves have been severely hitting Pakistan. Since partly it can definitely be attributed to climate change. Overall, global temperature is increasing because humankind, they are emitting more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which trap heat into them.
But you are 3 to 4 degrees Celsius in the daytime, an increase between last year and this year is not a small number.
It is not a small number. It is an alarming situation not only for Pakistan, because we are not living on this planet in isolation. There are many other countries around us, but since we are one of the most affected countries by the climate-induced calamities in the world, I think we'll have to take rapid measures and we'll have to ask the world, because we do not share any responsibility of this climate change, since we produce less than 1%, precisely 0.6% of the overall carbon footprint of the world. Despite that, we are in the front line of facing the challenges of climate-induced calamities because of the global warming and because of the climate change. Actually, global warming is the climate change, we can precisely say. So I believe that not only Pakistan's administration and Pakistan's masses and institutions, but international institutions will have to reflect upon how to deal with this changing situation.
Because it is very important that we take the necessary measures, because the situation, as you know very well, is evolving with every passing year. Dr. Zaheer Ahmed Babar Saab, welcome to our show. A shallow westerly wave, it is being said by the Met Office, is likely to affect upper parts of the country during the evening or night of tonight, that is the 28th of May. Dust storm, thunderstorm, isolated rains are predicted in some parts between the 28th today and the 1st of June. The PDMA has issued also an alert for rain, dust storms and thunderstorms in Punjab and some parts, upper parts of the country during this week as well. Will this somehow dissipate the effect of the heat wave, or do you feel that after this little spell of rain or dust storm, the heat wave is going to return with much more strength?
Actually, parts of Pakistan, particularly the southern parts of Pakistan, are in the grip of severe heat wave-like conditions. Only the upper parts, and that will be the isolated places in upper Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they can experience dust storms and isolated thunderstorms that can bring a partial relief to the heat wave like conditions. But then again, the temperatures are expected to soar during the month of June as well. Because in May and June, we experience high temperatures, and heat waves are not very uncommon in May and June. So the temperatures are again likely to rise till the mid of June, and after mid of June, we can have some pre-monsoon rainfall. Then in July and August, there are expected to be more monsoon rainfalls. Then the heat waves like conditions are likely to subside.
But Zaheer Saab, aren't the temperatures different? Isn't this more hot this year? Aren't the rains going to be different this year compared to last year? Aren't the pre-monsoon rains also going to be different this year compared to last year? Aren't we seeing a changing pattern in Pakistan and other countries?
It is a fact that due to climate change, we are seeing the changing patterns of precipitation, the rainfalls, pressure patterns, as well as the temperature patterns. Heat waves or the soaring temperatures in May and June are not very uncommon in the region. But what is alarming is the frequency of the heat waves, the intensity of the heat waves, and the area which is being under the influence of heat waves is increasing. So due to the climate change, we are seeing that there are changing patterns of heat waves, the frequency is changing, the extreme events of heat waves are more and more. So the climate change, as it used to say that it's going to happen, but unfortunately it's happening now. And we have to take measures and we have to adapt according to those changes which we are seeing. As far as the monsoon rainfalls are concerned, we are expecting that normal to above normal rainfalls are expected in parts of Pakistan. Particularly above normal rainfalls are expected in northeastern parts of Punjab and southeastern parts of Sindh.
All right. Well, coming back to you, Waqar, the forecast has advised farmers to manage their crops accordingly. You're a crop man as well, because you yourself are a farmer. Since these weather conditions, including lightning, could also affect daily routines, standing crops, loose structures like electric poles, vehicles, solar panels, etc. The PDMA says that this heat wave that is going to continue southern Punjab and plains and standing crops are feared to be damaged by the different storms, not only the heat wave, but also the storms that are going to happen. He said an alert has been issued to the Departments of Health, Irrigation, Construction and Communication, local governments and livestock. Which brings me to your point of view on the effect that this heat wave and the dust storms could have on crops, on solar panels, and what measures need to be taken for their protection.
I believe that we'll have to think upon how long would we be just raising the alerts. It doesn't mean only us, I mean the Pakistani government or Pakistani institutions, but the international community will have to think upon that the harsh weather conditions and changing patterns of weather in the world are rightly attributed to climate change. And climate change is only because of human race and their intervention in the world. We are constantly emitting the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which are trapping heat and which are responsible for global average temperature increase on the globe. I would like to add beyond this, this is a food security alarming situation in Pakistan, and it can trigger an economic situation in Pakistan as well. But we have heard in our childhood that trees are responsible for generating oxygen. But now we know that 70% of the oxygen of the world comes from oceans. And there is a microorganism called plankton. You can YouTube it and you can take it on the internet, check it on the internet. The microorganism plankton, which lives on the surface of the oceans, it is responsible for producing 70% of the oxygen of the globe. But because of the global warming and because of the contamination of ocean waters, the international maritime transportation and drainage water and rest of the things, the planktons are under threat, which means that life on globe is under threat. But international community is not even reflecting upon this threat as well. With regards to raising alarms for the farmers, farmers can do a little. What can I do with my solar panels, being a farmer? What can I do with my crops, because the crops are in open at the mercy of nature. So we can just, I cannot shift my crop from the emergency area to a safe area, because crop is there on the land and it is on the mercy of weather. So despite that, I think we'll have to have a comprehensive training programs. We'll have to build capacity of our farmers to learn the climate change, the changing behavior of weathers, and then to adopt with new seeds, with new crops, to avoid any economic crisis faced by the farmers and by the overall community, society of Pakistan, and to avoid the food security situation in Pakistan.
All right. Finally, last question from you, Dr. Zaheer. A risk of bushfires, forest fires in Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Northeast Balochistan is also being talked about. Can these fires be prevented? What measures could or need to be taken?
Actually, May and June are very dry seasons, and what we see is prolonged heat waves as well. And the atmospheric conditions, they are also there is not much moisture as well. So very dry conditions, and they are very conducive for the forest fires as well. So what we can do is we can ask the people which we are there to aware them about the things which not to throw, the fire things which can put fire into the bushfire. They can they can put a fire in the forest, for example. So one of the most important thing is the awareness thing. Actually, weather and the wind, and when in the evening when there is some wind, then it can pick up and the forest fires can grow. The forest fires can grow. So in all we have to do is to make the people aware that these when they are the tourists or some people which are around, that forest fires can be very dangerous, and they can weather actually when it's raining, then it can happen that it can extinguish those forest fires. So in short, if we have in the seasons of May and June, we can have more forest fires or bushfires due to the dry season.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Zaheer Ahmad Babar, Director of National Weather Forecasting Center, to have joined us and to have talked to us about the heat wave and the ensuing conditions that could emanate as a result of that. Waqar, general public has been advised to avoid unnecessary exposure to direct sunlight. A lot of people continue to do that, especially the children, because they don't know the effects that it could have. What, in your point of view, needs to be done on local government level, on the provincial level? B, what about the education institutions? Because there are a lot of children there, sometimes they don't take care of putting some kind of hat or a cap on their heads when they go out in the sun, or when they are waiting for their parents, or when they are waiting for the school bus, or not having a bottle of water next to them. What are the measures that need to be taken? I'd like a concise answer.
The weathers are changing, and we'll have to adopt according to the changing patterns of weather. The school vacations were designed according to the heat season in Pakistan, and if the heat season is changing, the school administration and the education department have to think that we'll have to adopt accordingly. The local government can raise awareness amongst people and can tell people that these are the immediate measures if a heat stroke is observed by any of the affected people in outside or inside, this can be done. And moreover, there are some necessary measures that can be taken by local government, that is the rescue centers, the immediate response centers at various places of the cities and different areas, where they can rescue and provide relief to the people who are affected by the heat wave. While saying this, that advising people to stay home, it is not possible for the labor class, because they'll have
also for the farmers who are toiling day and night in the open fields.
Definitely. So we'll have to understand that we have to come out, but we can take precautionary measures. And for parents, please provide your children with a water bottle, with the umbrella, and with rest of the capacity building measures. You can train your children that in this way you can avoid direct heat from the sun.
All right, thank you so very much, Waqar, Sherazi, to have joined us and to have talked to us about this heat wave that is grappling Sindh, Punjab and other areas, and we are going to see more and more of it in the coming days, and what we need to do as people, as farmers, as parents of children, or as teachers, in order to prevent exacerbating the situation that could arise out of such heat waves. Thank you very much. Just kindly stay with us for about 2 more minutes. The United Arab Emirates, ladies and gentlemen, has achieved the Guinness record for the largest solar power light bulb display. Now, this is shaped like the UAE's national Ghaf tree, and more than 3,000 students made lanterns and recently set this Guinness World Record for the largest solar power light bulb display. This tree of light, as you can see in the parallel window, showcases the power of youth-driven innovation and global impact. These lanterns also symbolize a commitment to renewable energy and sustainability. The goal of this record-setting initiative is to raise awareness among students and adults alike about the importance of renewable energy and sustainability. These lanterns are now going to be distributed to households in villages in the Philippines that do not have access to electricity. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's come to Paris, where traffic-clogged Champs-Élysées was turned into a mass picnic blanket for an unusual meal. The whole area was transformed into this blanket with 4,000 people that sat together under the sun enjoying an al fresco meal. They were selected via a draw and were provided with free baskets that were loaded with delicacies with from some top palace chefs, including puff pastries, creative sandwiches, and the food was prepared at 8 temporary kitchens that were set up along the avenue and provided by restaurants along the avenue as well. Mayor of Paris also visited the picnickers. The Champs-Élysées, as we know, is an iconic place as far as Paris, as France, as Europe is concerned. It has also staged other open-air venues in the past, including a mass movie showing and the world's largest dictation event. So this adds to it, and of course, what better in the summers in Europe to sit down together and enjoy a meal. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with news story segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.